So good morning, everybody. Before we begin, here are a few housekeeping notes for attendees. So interpretation is enabled for this event, and you're able to access it on the bottom of the screen by clicking on the interpretation icon. Attendees are able to participate by including your questions in the chat, and the moderator will then read them out during the Q&A portion of the panel. We have more than 100 people joining us today, and these arrangements are to ensure that the presentations can proceed without interruptions. I will now pass the floor to Senator Jerba.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup, tout le monde.
Thank you very much, honorable members of parliament. Good morning. Let me begin by extending to each and every one of you my very best wishes for the year 2022. Before I begin, let me acknowledge that I'm speaking to you from the unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. Honorable members of parliament, I am very pleased to welcome you to this webinar, which is part of the activities marking Black History Month, a month that allows us to remember the pain of the past, to celebrate Black culture, Black work, and Black achievements.
Of three senators, Senators Rosemary Moody from Ontario, Senator Colin Deacon from Nova Scotia, and myself, Senatrice Amina Gerba from Quebec. I would like to thank our respective teams who have worked hard to enable us to make today's presentation. Ayant moi-même été entrepreneur.
Having been an entrepreneur myself for over a quarter of a century, I know how Black people face enormous systemic barriers, yet entrepreneurship is often our only way to integrate economically and create wealth. Unfortunately, the data is lacking to demonstrate that the success of Black entrepreneurs is also contributing to the prosperity of the Canadian economy. The good news, ladies and gentlemen, is that in 2021, the federal government launched a program of funds to support Black entrepreneurs and their businesses across Canada. The program was launched in collaboration with the African Canadian Business Federation, ACBF. So we're therefore very pleased to welcome the CEO of the African Canadian Business Federation, Mrs. Tiffany Callender, who will provide an overview of the organization's progress since the launch of the Federal Black Entrepreneur Loan Program in 2021. Ms. Callender is joined by two entrepreneurs who are beneficiaries of the loan program, who will be giving us testimonials. But before we get into that, I would like to turn it over to my colleague, Senator Colin Deacon, to give us a little opening remarks. Senator Deacon is, like myself, an entrepreneur, and he acknowledges the white privilege.
Hello, Senator Gerba. It's just to inform everyone that Senator Deacon is having technical difficulties and he will try to join as soon as possible. But I think we should just move on to the next. Oh, he just managed.
I'm just back.
Great.
Yeah, unfortunately, there won't be translation. I apologize because of the fact that my internet went down just at the wrong moment. But Senator Gerba, I just want to say how thrilled I am to see such a highly successful entrepreneur like you in the Senate, and your voice is very much needed. And great that you organized this event. Welcome to everybody. I'm speaking to you today from Mi'kmaq, unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Prior to my appointment to the Senate, I saw firsthand how entrepreneurship creates opportunity. I'm passionate in my support of entrepreneurs because they effectively and cost efficiently create and scale solutions to pervasive problems. Entrepreneurial solutions not only drive economic growth and empowerment, but serve as catalysts for social change, enhancing the well-being of individuals and communities. But more specifically, we must empower inclusive entrepreneurship if we're to fully harness our collective potential. This is because diverse teams look at persistent problems from a multitude of perspectives, and as a result, create positively disruptive solutions. That's why diverse teams consistently deliver superior value. But traditional sources of financing haven't been working for too many BIPOC entrepreneurs. As we confirmed in our survey of Black entrepreneurs last year, this is a systemic barrier. That's why we must treat every dollar that government invests in inclusive entrepreneurship as precious. We've got to make sure that progress is tracked and reported so we can find ways to keep getting better, not just in the government loans and grants to small businesses, but in government funding for programs intended to by building their skills and networks. I firmly are successfully building a more inclusive and innovative economy today for tomorrow. That's why I'm enthusiastically looking forward to today's presentation. And as I hand things back to Senator Gerba, on behalf of all of us, a sincere thanks to all of you who are in the Senate of Canada building today, enabling this meeting.
Senator Gerba, you're on mute.
So thank you, Senator Deacon. As we can see now that you have some difficulty with your equipment. So I think you finished. Okay, thank you. J'aimerais maintenant vous.
I would like now to introduce to you our guest, Mrs. Callender. She is an advocate for the different causes in Canada. She has been the executive director of the Association des Communautés Nord de Côte-des-Neiges in Montreal. And in that capacity, she was able to receive $8.3 million to support community initiatives. Since the economic concerns, she's co-founded the Fédération Africaine Canadienne de l'Économie, received a funding from the federal government to support Black entrepreneurs in their activities. So I'm very pleased to welcome and to give the floor to Tiffany. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Honorable Senators and distinguished guests, Mesdames et Messieurs les Sénateurs, it is with honor for me to speak to you today as the Chief Executive Officer of the Federation of African Canadian Economics, which is known as FACE. C'est un honneur pour moi de vous adresser en tant que la présidente et directrice générale de la.
Very pleased to talk to you on behalf of my organization, FACE.
Our organization, our goals, and our visions. I want to express my gratitude to the Honorable Senator Gerba for her invitation. I could not think of a better way to celebrate Black History Month than to share with you our journey and future goals. Honorable Senators, the COVID-19 pandemic has not only disrupted our personal lives, but has had a major consequence on thousands of men and women who have chosen to start a business, to create wealth and jobs, and to contribute to Canada's economic recovery. The federal government and the provinces responded quickly by enacting policies to support businesses and business owners. These policies have allowed many of them to weather the storm and to eventually reopen their business. In the Black business community, however, we quickly noticed how difficult it was for many entrepreneurs to access funds and in some cases to reopen their businesses. Black entrepreneurs face two major obstacles, namely accessibility and adaptability. This is why, in January 2021, 5 Black-led business organizations got together and decided to act to ensure that Black entrepreneurs had the same chance as every other Canadian entrepreneur to recover and succeed. The Federation of African Canadian Economics is the result of a partnership between Groupe 3737, the Côte-de-Neige Black Community Association, the Black Business Initiative, the Black Business and Professional Association, and the Africa Center. FACE, une organisation nationale bilingue.
We're a bilingual organization. We're managed by Black people to contribute to the growth of the Black community in Canada.
Can only recover from the pandemic by mobilizing all economic forces. We believe that this is how we can strengthen our economy. We further believe that it is by ensuring that all can equitably and equally contribute to improving our economy that we can create wealth. It is vital for us to go beyond the words and to take action to support Black entrepreneurs. We are extremely grateful in that regard to the Government of Canada's support. We are especially grateful to the Minister of International Trade, Export, Promotion, Small Business and Economic Development, Mary Ng, whose role was critical in the creation of the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund, which was publicly announced by the Prime Minister on May 31st, 2021. Some may have doubts about the importance of having a Black-led fund dedicated to the Black community. This is a legitimate preoccupation. So is, in our view, the answer to such a preoccupation. According to an Abacus data study survey commissioned by the African Canadian Senate Group, which captured numerous obstacles faced by Black entrepreneurs, this survey confirmed what many in the Black business community had observed at the beginning of the pandemic, namely that Black entrepreneurs face obstacles and that other Canadian entrepreneurs did not. Systemic racism impacts most Black entrepreneurs. 76% of the entrepreneurs surveyed said that their race makes it harder for them to succeed as entrepreneurs. Access to capital is the greatest barrier for Black entrepreneurs. 70% said that if they needed to find $10,000 to support their business, it would be difficult for them to do so. Networks and supports are critical to empower Black entrepreneurs, but there is low trust in banks that is widespread. Only 19% of respondents said that they trust banks to do what is right for them and their community. We should not take these findings lightly. A just and prosperous country like Canada should not ignore these realities. As a country founded by immigrants and cultural communities, we simply cannot ignore such a problem, and we must find solutions. This is especially true today, as we are still recovering from the most severe crisis Canada has known in the last 100 years. Canada will rely on everyone, in particular on small and medium businesses, to ensure its economic recovery and create wealth for all Canadians. We believe that FACE can be a part of that solution to our economic challenges. Nous croyons que FACE peut faire partie de la solution.
We believe that FACE is part of the solution when it comes to the economic recovery.
Relentlessly to better support Black entrepreneurs. To those who have doubts about the Black-led fund dedicated to Black entrepreneurs, I can proudly say that there is a clear need for support and financial help in the Black entrepreneurial community. Nothing better illustrates this than the almost instantaneous interest that the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund created among the Black community, and in particular, the Black business community. Since the creation of the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund, FACE has granted more than $11.7 million in loans, ranging between $10,000 to $250,000 to Black entrepreneurs all over the country. Its beneficiaries have told us on multiple occasions how much this loan has had a positive impact on their business, especially in terms of growth, expansion, hiring, and modernizing. Our loans have encouraged thousands of Black entrepreneurs to take risks, to persevere, to innovate, and to create wealth in their community. As the Chief Executive Officer of FACE, as a member of the Black community, and above all, as a proud Canadian, I am very proud of what we have done in such a short period of time. I am proud of our accomplishments, and I am proud to belong to such a movement in which no one is left behind, a movement where everyone is included and has an equal chance to pursue their goals and their dreams. Senators, but having the best interests or intentions or objectives is not sufficient. We can only achieve our goals if we have the right partners. Collective success is often greater than individual success. I would like to highlight that the BDC's contribution to our project, to have the bank that supports entrepreneurs from across the country support us, has been an advantage. We can say without a doubt that the BDC is the bank of all entrepreneurs. I would like to highlight once again the federal government's contribution to our project. Without the government's active support, we would never have been able to help so many Black entrepreneurs access funding and create wealth. I also want to highlight Alternate Savings, as well as Van City, who have supported us from the very beginning, especially regarding our microloan pilot project. Their contribution and their dedication towards FACE and Black entrepreneurs commands respect and admiration. As you can see, FACE has built strong relationships with multiple financial institutions. In addition to our financial partners, we can also count on the support of organizations such as EY, MNP, Deloitte, and Ment Connect, who's provided our clients with all sorts of resources and advice to help them succeed. These partnerships are very important to us and illustrate our willingness to build a strong business community. I want to thank them for their support and being a part of believing a part of our mission. Whether it is the way we interact with entrepreneurs, communicate with entrepreneurs, or manage internal operations, we've made innovation one of our guiding principles. We're proud to have launched our digital interface, Bobby, which stands for the Black-Owned Business Interface, where entrepreneurs can apply for loans and follow their application process from beginning to end in an easy and simple way. With Bobby, FACE now possesses the most exhaustive mapping of Black businesses in Canada. The digital platform is not only a tool for entrepreneurs, but is also an innovative platform that allows for us to interact with our clients to identify the systemic barriers they face and their specific needs. Notre plateforme numérique Bobby permet.
So the Bobby platform allows us to interact with our clients to know what their needs are and the obstacles they face.
Proud to announce that more than 25,000 businesses have registered on Bobby, of which we received 16,000 loan applications. Among the latter group, more than a third are women, 15% are members of the LGBTQ+ community, and 8% are between the ages of 18 to 30. Without this fun and digital platform, it would have been impossible for me to provide you with such data. One thing is clear, our business community is very diverse. Its intersectionality components requires a flexible and adaptable approach. And this is precisely our mission, which is to understand the different segments of our community to better promote its members of financial well-being. Our determination is strong. We want to promote a vision where Black businesses can become an important component of Canada's economy. The description I've given you of our organization, especially of our mission and our accomplishment, makes me very proud to be a part of FACE. However, our journey is only beginning. It is still too early to claim victory or mission accomplished. The road ahead is still full of obstacles. If we want our actions and accomplishments to have a lasting and impactful effect, we need strong political support, especially from you. As I said earlier, since its creation, the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund has generated almost instantaneous interest and enthusiasm, and it still does today. This has promoted us to review and improve our internal operations, notably technological and human resources. We now have a robust internal structure where people's skills and knowledge benefit the administrators, employees, and our clients. This was made possible because of the visionary governance model. Our board of directors operates under the following axes: mutually reinforcing expertise, adequately representing every region of the country, diversity of experience, and bilingualism. This is how we can collectively take strategic decisions and consider the diverse interests of Canada's Black community. In a short period, we've built a solid organization that is based on values such as transparency and solidarity. These values allow us to have a lasting effect to fulfill our mission in accordance to the highest business standards. We must have resources to fulfill our mandate in the best conditions possible and in the interest of our clients. It is vital to have financial support that corresponds to our mission. We want to be the federal government's main interlocuteur when it comes to Black entrepreneurship, as well as parliamentary forums and committees. We want to continue to optimize our operational capacities by adding new resources and improving partnerships with financial institutions. We hope that the Senate will support our actions to have a durable fund. Whether it is our operating budget or development of key partnerships, we believe the Senate can play a key role in helping us achieve our goals. That is, to support Black entrepreneurs' contributions to economic prosperity of Canada. I thank you for the opportunity to speak to you about faith, and I look forward to answering your questions. Je vous remercie de la chance qui m'a été accordée de vous.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you, and I will happily answer any questions you might have. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Tiffany, for your presentation. Quite impressive. And the figures you've presented are quite convincing and speak to the scope and the impact of this program. I will now give the floor to Margaret.
To what she received and how she give us some testimony of the use of faith.
Thank you.
Margaret, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I want to say a big thank you to Senator Colling, Senator Amina, and the other senator who helped out. And of course, a big thank you to Tiffany and the Faith Coalition. I'm speaking to you from St. Albert, Alberta, and I've had the opportunity to work in the banking industry for 20 years, and I was the branch manager for 11 years, which gave me the opportunity to come across a lot of Black entrepreneurs who we couldn't help for so many reasons. In the banking world, we have a lot of lending practices that just don't favor a lot of Black entrepreneurs. Most of these Black entrepreneurs do not have enough assets or accumulated wealth for the bank to be comfortable enough in order to give them the kind of loans that they're looking for. At the same time, as a branch manager, I've seen a lot of our counterparts or a lot of other entrepreneurs come in with business plans, and we've been able to help them. The challenge there was the wealth gap. And we're not able to give them that access to capital because of those policies that we have. And apart from the policies, it's also because a lot of Black Canadians are just not there yet. When I say we're not there yet, it means when it comes to being trusted, which is systemic, a little bit of systemic discrimination. We're not trusted. I've seen a lot of Black entrepreneurs come into the branch, and we will ask them a lot more questions than we will ask maybe somebody else because we're not comfortable for so many reasons. I was so happy. I was really, really happy when this opportunity was announced by Prime Minister Trudeau, because I knew it was going to give us a lot of opportunity. Myself as a branch manager, when I thought about starting a business, the goal was for me to be able to help the Black community as well with the business that I wanted to start. But even with my years of experience, I could not get a loan with any bank. And I had a little bit of asset because I was a branch manager, but I still couldn't get a loan. That's why Faith Coalition is an important project for the Black community. There's a lot of Black entrepreneurs that I have met who has benefited from this particular project. For example, my current company is called City Lending Centers, and we help Black entrepreneurs with their credit. It is an aspect of banking that we couldn't do. There was no way in the world we're able to help anybody with their credit situation. And a lot of Black entrepreneurs are already up to their limit, because now a lot of them are going to third-party lenders. They are going to private lenders who are giving them loans at 29%, 45% in order for them to start a business. Of course, those businesses will fail within the first year because they can't keep up. And myself, as a Black entrepreneur and as a mother, when you start a business, you put everything you got into it. You have little or nothing left to feed your family. And you might be forced to want to go to these third-party lenders because you have no choice. A lot of them are doing it because they have no choice. I've gotten to a point, sometimes maybe, before I got my first loan, where I said, I'm calling Easy Financial. And the moment they said 45%, I said, no, thank you. And First Coalition, they were there for me from the beginning, from the moment that I called until I got my loan. Their staff, they understand, they got me. They knew where I was coming from. And again, this is Margaret Adekunle, who is a banker, a savvy banker. So I can only imagine for a lot of Black entrepreneurs that don't know as much as I probably know. So I've seen them firsthand getting really frustrated and getting broke really fast. So First Coalition is a project that has to stay and should be here for the likes of my children when they get to the point of wanting to become an entrepreneur. So thank you so much, Senators, for making this possible for us. With Black History Month, this is what Black History Month is all about, an opportunity for us to celebrate how far we've come and where we'll continue to go. Creating wealth through entrepreneurship for Black people is the future for Canada. With the pandemic, it's affected a lot of Black families way more, according to a survey that was done recently. And a lot of Black families are getting into a lot of that. Again, is because of lack of access to capital. And when they come to the bank, like I said earlier, nobody is able to help them. So a big thank you to what First Coalition has done. Senator Amina, thank you so much. Senator Collins, we really appreciate you because of you and because of every other senators here, I myself, as a Black business owner, I will be able to create jobs. I'm about to hire 2 people for my business. And in the next 14 months, we're looking to hire 8 more. So it's trickling down. What you're all doing is creating a lot of opportunities within the Black community, which is exactly what we need. We want the opportunity to have that equity when it comes to wealth. So thank you. We appreciate each one of you, and I hope that this program is here to stay much longer. Thank you once again for the opportunity to be here. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer.
Thank you, Margaret, for this testimony. It means that we still have enough to do to support Black entrepreneurs. And I'm sure that my colleagues heard what you said and will act accordingly. J'aimerais maintenant présenter.
I'd now like to introduce Mr. Patrick Jean-Baptiste. He's got over 20 years of experience in cybersecurity and IT. He's the CEO of Sun Finks. And he received funding from the Federal Fund for Black Entrepreneurs. Patrick, over to you. Thank you very much. Hello to all of you. If I may, I'll just share my screen. I've prepared a presentation for you. Can you see what's up on the screen? Good. My name is Patrick Jean-Baptiste. I studied telecommunications at Ahuntsic College, and I have over 25 years of experience in IT and cybersecurity. I worked as a professional in many cybersecurity positions before becoming a consultant. I worked for Bell Canada, Videotron, and many other large corporations. So Sun Finks is a company which, since 2008, has been working in cybersecurity. And we focus on large corporations and small businesses. Our team has over 50 years of experience in IT. And we help companies assess the risk to their assets. there are 250 cybersecurity service providers in the world. Recently, we've received the prestigious Cybersecurity Canada stamp, and this shows our clients and investors that we take cybersecurity seriously. Here's a partial list of our clients and partners: CN, Gestion PCO, the City of Montreal, and many others. These are our three main expertise sectors. We focus on these three areas to better service our clients and companies. And these three sectors are audit and cybersecurity evaluation. We help to identify cybersecurity weaknesses in a company to help them make the necessary adjustments in the short, medium, and long terms. We also have a operational security center. We provide 24/7 surveillance of your assets, and we can jump in if ever there's a crisis or an emergency. Finally, we provide remote management services, so companies can use our services if they want to help cover their technical teams.
Notre principal service est la cybersécurité.
Although we mainly do and work in cybersecurity, we have a multidisciplinary team that offers different services, wireless implementation, telecommunication network management, and IT management. So you can have a full range of services. So the loan we received enabled us to rent new spaces where we're going to be moving shortly. This will enable us to buy new equipment, this will enable our company to grow and to position ourselves as pioneers of cybersecurity in our new spaces. We'll put in place an innovation center for the development of new products based on AI and hence creating new jobs. Thanks to the funding we received, we're ready to raise the bar and to get to the next level. So we have many new projects. First, the innovation projects development. We intend to carry out a market study and ask for different authorizations. We want to hire more, create more jobs, hire new people, work on a initiative with colleges and universities, and create different job opportunities for students and offer training in cybersecurity. So I would like to thank you for your time and your attention. Thank you very much to all of you. If you have questions, so we'll have a question period later on. Thank you, Patrick, for this presentation that shows that entrepreneurs are quite active even in very specific areas like cybersecurity, and this also allows us to see that the funding from FACE enabled you to grow your business, and that was very useful. So dear colleagues, it is now your turn to ask questions to our panelists. I know that We've already received questions in the chat. We have 20 minutes for this question period, the question and answer period. Questions will be read by Walter, I think.
I'll do the French questions.
Merci.
Thank you.
First question, which is for Tiffany, and someone is asking if you could repeat the name of the digital tool. I think is the Bobby platform, and whether it's accessible to entrepreneurs themselves. And similarly, just if it's possible to get a digital list of all the resources mentioned and pass on to Black entrepreneurs.
So the Black-owned business interface, which is named Bobby, is a joint collaboration between FACE as a startup nonprofit strategy with a Black and Brown-owned business here in Canada called Mindful. And we thought that it was important to work with Black-owned businesses in Canada to develop the tools that would help us to support Black entrepreneurs. So this tool was developed and initiated by the startup, and we've been able to customize this platform to be used not only for the intake for entrepreneurs, so on our website at facecoalition.com, all applications begin by creating a user account. And this is where we go through the experience of collecting information about the business, general information. And this is where we also collect the necessary documentation and information we require to process a loan application. As I described, now Bobby, who's in her version 2 that launched recently, now permits us to integrate a client dashboard. So the user experience is different, where they can now follow along with the different steps or the progress of their application, which is guided by the internal use, which is the inside face of Bobby, where our loan team, which is now up to 12 people, manage all of the actual reviewing and processing, underwriting of all of the loans received by FACE, by qualified applicants. So this is a very intuitive experience for us, where by listening to feedback from our clients, our community, even our staff, has permitted us to pivot quickly and work with Mindful to adapt this tool to be as efficient as possible. And we will continue to do so.
And just the follow-up question, which asked if it's possible to send a list of all the resources that you've mentioned to Black entrepreneurs in like different writings.
Absolutely. So one point I would reference is our website, again, facecoalition.com, that has all of the different elements that I've mentioned in the program. It explains the microloan and the macro loan program, the different resource partners that have been funded by the Canadian government as well across the country, and all FAQs and different elements of how to apply for your loan. So at that website, all of the information described in my actual presentation is available. And you can also, that is where you would create a user account if you are going to be an applicant to the FACE program.
Great, thank you, Tiffany. I see another question, which is to Patrick, and is asking if you can provide a sense of your current employment levels and where you believe it will get to because of the loan that you've received. And also asking if you were able to access any lending facilities prior to FACE.
Very good question. Right now we have 10 people, 10 resources that working in the company, and we want to have more people working on the in the facilities. So with the FACE financial support, we are able to get a new office and then start create new businesses development, getting new services, and moving forward. And also, we haven't tried for a lending phase to get another financial support from another institution. So it's only face that we knock at the door. They say, okay, Patrick, you're good. You can get the funds. Okay, no problem. So, so that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Patrick. That's amazing. That phase, was the door that opened for you and your company. I saw an earlier comment from Senatrice Meji, who was just thanking all the panelists for the presentation. Thank you, Senator. Next question is to Tiffany. Can you share with us just how the rich data that you have and will be collecting will be shared with government and also with interested stakeholders and organizations that are repositories for data, for example, Statistics Canada. And the question goes on to ask how this data will be introduced into policy decision-making.
Thank you for the question, Senator Moody. At the beginning of this process, when engaging with government and trying to get from government what is the data set available on the number of Black businesses in Canada, number of employees, we realized that there was a gap in that data. So while we took the mandate of the loan fund, we also saw this as an opportunity to collect this crucial data, to have a 360 perspective on who is Black Business Canada. So this data that's collected, which is very rich, it captures not only, as we mentioned before, gender, intersectionality, immigration status, the type of business. Each business submits to us under the NAISC code what sector they're in, the number of employees they have, if they've been affected by the pandemic, and so much more for us to better understand their realities and use that data as an opportunity to share with government, particularly the federal government and provincial governments and other institutions, by generating reports, hopefully on an annual basis, where we can share the results of the qualitative and quantitative experiences that data that we've collected. I think that one of the rich data sets we also will be able to work on with university partners, which is in development now, is the stories of Black entrepreneurs and their experience in developing businesses in Canada. The data will speak in terms of the numbers, but the story and the context is what really has to be addressed to government to influence policy change and ensure that adapted programs such as FACE continue to be able to reach and respond to the needs of Black entrepreneurs across the country.
Thank you. Okay. Any other question?
Yes, I see one more, which asks, besides lending, are there also any grant programs or pitch competitions or something similar directed at Black entrepreneurs for those who want to, for those who absolutely may not be in a position to take on loans?
This is a very good question. I want to just contextualize my previous experience. Before being the executive director of the Côte-des-Neiges Black Community Association, I started my first job there as the coordinator of the Entrepreneurship Program in Quebec, where I serviced the English-speaking Black community. And we had a great pitch competition. It was called Pitch the Dream, which I ran for 6 years and adored that. I think that there's a great opportunity for us to develop different supports to entrepreneurs in this country, whether it's via pitch competitions or grant programs. At this time, FACE is offering loans, but is working very hard to engage with partnerships and to be able to get sponsorships, to be able to convert that to loans, to grants and different types of supports that we can afford businesses. I think it's also important to note the non-financial contributions that are made in the format of pro bono services, such as our partner M&P, which has offered pro bono hours to help entrepreneurs on their road to applying to FACE. These are the types of relationships that FACE would like to develop with Bay Street, because what we've noticed in my 20 years of working in the Black community is that we need a bridge between Bay Street and Main Street. There is a gap there where we're unable to transfer a lot of the expertise and skills that can support Black communities and other communities as well. I think when we use the word marginalized or excluded, we have to understand that it is not just in an economic way. It is definitely economic, but there is also an exclusion of access to information, access to networks, access to mentorship and sponsorship, which is really the environment that any entrepreneur or people in general need to be able to thrive and see themselves different and be able to craft a different trajectory for their lives. So this is the work that we would like to do at FACE. I'm particularly interested in developing a grant program for youth. As you can see, we've already started collecting data between 18 to 30, as well as for newly arrived immigrants. I also had a great conversation with many women in Alberta when I did my cross-Canadian tour, who are members of the Muslim community, and talked to me about their issue in regards to interest. So how do we address that to make sure even access to capital within the intersectionality of Black communities can be addressed? So as you can see, I have a lot of work on my plate as the CEO of this organization, but it's through speaking with the Black community in its full depth that we can create solutions that are innovative and can respond to the different needs of the people who need this support.
I can see Senator Lofreda hand up.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you to the Senate team that prepared all this and for the invitation. And thank you to all the panelists. I just wanted to share briefly my 35 years experience in the finance industry and my last 15 as a senior executive at RBC. And I think there's a lot of progress being done. So congratulations to all. The FACE program will help tremendously. Two things, and I think we've mentioned them briefly, that is extremely, extremely important is data collection. And I'll elaborate on where the data collection should be besides government and policy, which I think it's very important with government and policy, and mentorship. So the mentorship program, I'd like you to elaborate maybe on the mentorship program and how we can improve that mentorship program, because that is key, where if you're going to a bank, to a financial institution, you've never been there, you're a startup, you're a young entrepreneur, or young could be 55 years old, but and you have to have some mentorship, somebody that will guide you. And data collection, not only for policy, but data collection also with respect to every bank is different as to what the criteria will be for you getting the loan. And some banks are more equity lenders, some banks are more cash flow lenders, some banks are more character lenders. And I think that's so important, that data collection to be shared amongst the entrepreneurs and saying, obviously always keeping that confidentiality, but maybe that has to be something very important and has to progress as much as the programs and the access to capital. And I think the intentions in the banking community are very good and very strong. And I still see a lot of senior executives in all the banks, and we want to make this happen. I say we still. Sorry, I'm a senator now. I'm no longer a banker. But they want this to happen. So I think the mentorship and data collection, if you can elaborate, and if we can have the same progress in those areas as we're having in access to capital, I think the progress will be tremendous. So thank you once again, and I await your answer.
Thank you so much, Senator Lofreda. So I will start with the mentorship piece. I mentioned in my presentation that mentorship is a key part of what we need to provide, and we've partnered with a tech company, again, Black-owned from Canada, called Ment Connect. And this is a platform that we intend to use to launch a national mentorship program to allow for us to connect those from the corporate sector or for particular industries to connect with Black entrepreneurs who have received support from the FACE loan. Why are we doing this? With mentorship, in particular one-on-one mentorship, and I will get to what we have planned for those on their way to applying for the FACE loan. It is important for people to be able to have, again, a mentor who can give them a sense of confidence and also a place where they can ask questions about what direction they can take, to give them also access to other networks that perhaps they do not have. So part of our FACE Plus package, which is where I look at the spectrum of post receiving the loan, how can we continue to support to reinforce not only capacity, but access to different types of support, particularly mentorship, and the work that we are doing with Ment Connections and also with EY, who has showed a great interest in being able to step in and provide mentorship to Black entrepreneurs who are FACE clients has been one of our focus areas. When we talk about looking at mentorship from the perspective of on the road to applying for the loan, I agree very much with you that people who are going to present to other financial institutions have to almost learn what I call learn how to speak bank. You've got to be able to speak to bankers in a way where they understand what it is that you need. I think what I like about our program at FACE is that because we have a shared lived experience, it almost removes a part of the barrier of how we communicate and what the experience is. But I do agree that mentorship, whether it's one to group, where we can talk about how do you present, how do you talk about the value of your company, how do you show how you differentiate yourself in the market, what is it that is a value added? These are things that we have to help to cultivate in our entrepreneur to tell the story of who they are. I'll come to the, yes, sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I just before we go on, and I just want to say a little word afterwards. Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Go ahead, Senator Jerba. Go ahead.
Okay, we have one more question on the list, and I think we will end for the period of question. Benedicta?
Yes. So we had a question from Senator Hartling, who is wondering about the percentage of Black women entrepreneurs who might be served. And she thanks you for everyone's excellent presentations.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I mentioned briefly in my presentation that we do collect data regarding the amount of people who have reached. And so far, in terms of the loan applicants, what we've been able to collect as data for women, youth, and also the LGBTQ+. So among women, it is 15% currently, and 15% as well. I'm sorry, I apologize. A third of the applicants so far, which is over 16,000, are women. 15% are members of the LGBTQ+ community, and 8% are between the ages of 18 to 30. And this is to answer Senator, to add on and answer Mr. Lafreda, Senator Lafreda's question. The data that's collected is very important and imperative, and we have a unique position at FACE to be able to collect that data, which unfortunately financial institutions are not, by different restrictions. So we are able to now collect a larger data set and be able to present holistically who these entrepreneurs are, what sectors they're in, and what are their challenges, and be able to reflect that into different institutions, including the financial institutions. And also the use of funds, obviously, also allows for us to share a little bit about what are the needs of these entrepreneurs as they come through the FACE program.
Thank you. So we have a last one with from Sénatrice Clément. Thank you.
Bonjour.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the senators and staff who have organized this really great meeting.
And their staff. Ms. Callender, you're fantastic. Thank you. Two things. One thing is I would love a clear list of all of these resources that I can then use to push out to my network. So Ment Connect, all of the different links in one place so that I can get organized around letting people know. The other thing I want to ask is I'm sitting in Ottawa right now, and I've had some experiences with the convoy here. I walk into my building and there are young women of color who are just there to debrief about their experiences. And I wonder if you have networks for Black business owners, because this is a financial issue, but it's also painful for Black business owners to go through some of this stuff. And are there networks, or have you experienced that, where Black business owners can come together to just talk about the pain of some of this stuff to help support each other to keep going?
So what we've done at FACE is we understand that it's bigger than just loans. And we say that often, and I say that when I share about this program. So one of the vehicles that we've used is we have something called our Masterclass Mondays, which is a place where we pick a topic, we allow the community to come in on lunch hour, we share it, but then this is where we engage as well actively with our audience. Another piece that we put together is called our podcast talk, The Other Canada, where we invite Black entrepreneurs and other members of the community to talk about their experiences, ups and downs, in betweens. And I think this is what's creating, at this time, a virtual space. I do agree that through the ecosystem partners that we have across the country, it is an opportunity for us to support each other through the struggle of being a Black entrepreneur. And FACE would be glad to support that type of initiative, because we hear the stories when the entrepreneurs come to us for loans, and it is very heavy. And it is not just the weight of the pandemic, but it's the weight of trying to start a business with the true pandemic that they face, which is often bias and exclusion.
Merci.
And I'll get you that document as well.
Merci. Oui, parce que c'est très important.
Thank you. Absolutely, communication is so important with people on the ground. Sometimes it's hard to get an overview of the situation. We don't have all the tools we need to get the support that we really need. So that concludes questions. I'm sorry, not everyone was able to speak because time is running out.
The pleasure to present my colleague and co-organizer of this webinar, Senator Rosemary Moody, for the closing remarks. Senator
Thank you.
Moody.
Thank you, Senator Gerba. Thank you to everyone for joining us today. We are thankful, Senator Gerba, Senator Deacon, and myself, for the opportunity to share with you the amazing work being done by leaders in the Black community to advance prosperity and to access economic advancement. Today we heard some important, rich sampling of the data that FACE is collecting already, and data that we'll all be able to apply to examining and to finding solutions moving forward. We also heard about some important networking initiatives to support Black entrepreneurs. I invite you to keep in touch with FACE through FACE social media and other means, and to see how you can support them or Black entrepreneurs in your own community. As we close this event, I really would like to extend sincere thanks to our speakers, Tiffany, Margaret, and Patrick, for your wonderful presentation of the Black Community Entrepreneurship Loan Fund Program in Canada. I also want to give warm thanks to my colleagues again, Senator Gerba and Senator Deacon, for coming together to organize this important event, and to recognize MP Greg Fergus, who has joined us and been part of this discussion. So we are happy you were able to join us today. We think this is important work to bring awareness to the need for the Loan Fund program within the Black community. Thank you to all our parliamentary colleagues and to the staff who joined us today and engaged in this informative session. With that, I end my closing remarks and hand it back over to you, Senator Gerba.
Senator Gerba, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. Donc, encore une fois,
Again, thank you to all parliamentarians who joined us today. And I'd like to thank our panelists one more time. My parliamentary colleagues, really, it's great that you heard the panelists. As legislators, we have the power to do something to affect change. And I certainly hope that you will hear what was said today and think about diversity and Black leaders when you make decisions, when you draft your bills, because really Black entrepreneurs have a real impact in this country, as you've just heard. Certainly, we have to think of Black History Month every day, actually. So thanks again and have a great weekend.